I'm sorry, but you're just not man enough. Those were her exact words. No yelling, no dramatic exit. Just a whisper that cut through my chest like ice. I stared at her. What? What? She clutched her phone tighter. You heard me? No, I said quietly. Say it again? So I know I didn't imagine that. Her lips curled like she was tired. This isn't working, okay? I've been trying to pretend, but I can't. I need more. More. I blinked. More than what? Loyalty. Support. A fiancé who shows up. You don't get it, she muttered, turning away. You just don't. Then help me understand. Shouldn't have to teach a man how to be a man. I looked at the floor. That's it? She nodded. Yeah, that's it. I laughed once, but it wasn't funny. I gave up everything for us, Emily. I never asked you to, she snapped. No, you just expected it. She didn't reply, just stared out the window like I wasn't even there. So what now? Asked, voice low. You'll be fine, she said. You always are. You? I'll figure it out. Her voice was steady, cold. I already am. I took a step back. Is there someone else? She didn't answer. I swallowed hard, right? I didn't cheat on you, but you wanted to. She turned. Around fast. Don't twist it. I'm not. I'm just connecting the dots. I rubbed my temple. Why didn't you just say it sooner? 'Cause I hoped you'd prove me wrong. By doing what? I asked. Getting a bigger paycheck. Yelling at you in public. Punching walls. By being someone who doesn't let life happen to? Him. I laughed bitterly. You mean someone like Kevin? Eyes widened. That's not fair. Oh, it's fair. You compare me to him all the time. It's the guy with zero empathy and a six-pack. The one who always has to be right. At least he's not scared of owning the room, and you think I am. I think you shrink. When things get hard, you retreat. You apologize too much. You're. I flinched. I thought. Softness was something you loved. I thought so too, she whispered. I stood there, letting those words sink in. 3 years. 3 years of shared dreams, late-night calls, vacations planned. Tears wiped all undone in a few sentences. I looked down at the small box in my pocket. I hadn't even had a chance to give it to her. I was going to propose again tonight. Breath hitched. Why? Because I thought we were worth fighting for. She didn't respond. I guess I was wrong. You deserve someone better, she said. No, I said. You just don't deserve me. What's that supposed to mean? I mean, you don't get to break me and then act. Like it's charity. That's not what You don't get to call me soft like it's a curse. Like being kind makes me weak. I didn't mean it like that. You did, I said, stepping back. I heard you loud and clear. There was silence. I'll go, I said. Before I say something I regret, where will you go? I looked at her one last time. Anywhere but here. She didn't stop me. Not a word, not a plea, nothing. I walked out into the night. Wind biting against my skin. The world suddenly felt colder. I reached my car, hands trembling as I unlocked the door. I sat there for a while, engine off, watching the rain smear the windshield. I pulled the box from my pocket and opened it. The ring glinted under the cabin light. Silent promise, never spoken. Not man enough, I whispered. I wasn't angry. Not yet, just numb. How do you process hearing that from the person who once said you were everything? I rested my head against the steering wheel. My mind played back every conversation, every time I carried her bags, encouraged her dreams, waited up when she was late. None of it mattered. I didn't yell. I didn't break anything. I didn't scream into the void. I just sat there in something. In me cracked. Not in pain, but clarity. I didn't fail her. She failed me. She gave up before I ever had a chance to show what I was capable of. And maybe that's what hurt most. Not the betrayal, not the insults, but the fact that she never really saw me. I started the car, drove with no destination in mind. My hands gripped the wheel tighter with each passing mile. This wasn't my breakdown, was my beginning, because from this night forward, I wasn't chasing anyone else's idea of what a man should be. I was going to become something they never saw coming. Not for revenge. Not for recognition. For me. For the boy she called weak. For the man I was about to become. I called once, straight to voicemail. I called again. Then again, nothing. I opened our chat, my last message. Can we talk? Just sat there. Delivered. Not seen. I texted again. Me. Please. I just want to understand. 3 dots popped up, then vanished. Then everything disappeared. Her name turned gray. Our thread said, "You can no longer send messages to this user." She blocked me. Just like that. I stared at the screen. Wow. Goodbye. No closure. Just gone. I opened Instagram. Gone. Snapchat. Blocked. Email. Unanswered. 3 years. 3 birthdays. 3 winters together. Erased like I was spam. I sat back in my chair, phone in my hand, heartbeat loud. You really meant it. I paced the apartment. My brain couldn't slow down. No, I muttered. I need to hear it from her. I grabbed my keys. 10 minutes later, I stood on her parents' porch, jacket still zipped. Her mom opened the door. "Oh, hi," I said. "Is Emily home?" "She didn't move. She's not here. Can I wait?" She hesitated. "She's actually not staying here anymore," I blinked. "Since when?" "A few days." "Do you know where?" "I think it's best if you move on," she said quickly. "What?" She asked us not to get involved. I stepped back. "Mrs. Taylor, I'm not here to start drama. I gave her 3 years of my life," I proposed. She said yes. Now she's vanished. "She's processing," she said quietly. "By ghosting me?" Eyes dropped. "She's doing what she needs to do." "For who?" "Herself. She's hurting too." "No," I said sharply. "She's hiding." "There's a difference." She looked over her shoulder. "I think you should leave. Think you should tell your daughter she destroyed someone who actually loved her. She didn't mean to." "She did." I turned and walked down. The steps, my throat burning. I sat in the car for 10 minutes before starting it. I checked my phone again. Still blocked. I opened the group chat with her friends. "Me. Have you guys heard from Emily?" No reply. An hour later, I noticed the chat name had changed. Then I noticed I wasn't in it anymore. I stared at the screen. What the hell? One by one, the people I once laughed with, traveled with, stayed silent. I DM'd her best friend. No response. I messaged her sister, Me. "Hey, can we talk?" Her. "I think it's best you let it go." Me. "She blocked me. Won't talk. Can you at least tell me what's happening?" Or she said you take it badly. Me. She ghosted me. After 3 years. Her. People change. Me. She didn't change. She just checked out while pretending to stay. Her. I'm sorry. I don't want to be in the middle of this. Blocked. One word. One tap. One cold goodbye. I dropped my phone on the couch. Unbelievable. Grabbed into the kitchen, grabbed a glass, filled it with water, and slammed it down. "You didn't even have the guts to say it to my face," I whispered. I looked around the apartment. Her mug still sat in the sink. Her hair tie was on the dresser. Her perfume still lingered in the air like a ghost that refused to leave. I grabbed a box. I started collecting her things, one drawer at a time. I threw her hoodie into it. The one she always wore on Sundays, her favorite movie, still sat in the Blu-ray player. I tossed it into photos, cards, jewelry, all into the box. I hesitated at the framed picture by the bedside US. Smiling, holding hands on the pier, I stared at it. "I really thought you were forever." I dropped it in the box and shut the lid. It didn't make the pain go away, but it gave me a place to put it. I sat down and opened my notes app. Title: Things I Should Have Said to You. I typed the first line. "You don't get to call me not man enough and then disappear like a coward." Then the second, "You don't get to break someone and run." I stopped. My fingers hovered. This wasn't helping. I opened my camera roll instead, scrolled through memories like they were someone else's. Her laugh in that one, her sleepy face in another. her arms wrapped around me in the one I almost deleted. Gone. Now, not the images, just the meaning behind them. I set the phone down and stared at the ceiling. So this is how it ends. I said to no one, but deep down I knew. It ended long before she said the words. It ended the moment she stopped listening. The moment she started looking through me instead of at me. The moment she decided that someone else's version of man enough mattered more than mine. The silence wasn't just punishment, it was confession. She'd moved on long before. She said it aloud. She just didn't have the courage to do it honestly. I leaned back on the couch, wiped my eyes, and exhaled. "Okay," I whispered. "You erased me." I sat up straighter. "Now I erase you, not from memory, but from meaning." "Yo," Mark said, tapping my shoulder. "You seen this?" I looked up from my screen. "Seen what?" He turned his phone around. "A photo. Emily with him. The guy, the same one she said was just her gym friend. His arm around her waist, her head. On his shoulder, my stomach clenched. "Where'd you get this?" I asked. "Tagged in someone's story," he muttered. "Didn't know if I should show you." I stared at the image. She was smiling, laughing, wearing the necklace I bought her on our second anniversary. The silver heart I picked out after spending an hour in that tiny jewelry shop downtown. Now it rested on her chest while she leaned into him. I didn't speak, didn't blink, just stared. "You okay?" Mark asked quietly. I nodded, even though I wasn't. "Want me to delete it?" "No," I said. "Send it to me." He hesitated. "You sure, man?" "Send it." My phone buzzed. I opened the photo, zoomed in. There was no mistaking it. Same laugh, same curve of her smile. Same lie. I walked out of the office without a word. Phone clutched tight in my hand. At the cafe next door, I sat in the corner booth end, stared at the picture again. "She told me not to worry about you," I whispered to the screen. "She said you were just a friend." I scrolled down another photo. Different day. Her and him again. Matching drinks. Matching grins. More comments. Finally, "You two are perfect. It's about time." Each line hit like a punch. Each emoji felt like a laugh at my expense. 3 years, and this is how it ends. It with her in someone else's arms before the dust even settles. I took a sip of coffee, barely tasting it. I stared out the window, my reflection staring back. My jaw was clenched, my eyes sunken, tired, dull. That's who I became. While she was out living her next chapter, I was still stuck in the ending she wrote. I pulled out my phone again and opened our old album, me and Emma 100, photos at us at the beach, us at her cousin's wedding, her sleeping on my chest, the night I proposed. I stared at each one. Then I selected all. Delete the screen asked me, "Are you sure?" Didn't hesitate. Yes. Gone. Not out of anger, out of necessity. I couldn't keep mourning someone who clearly moved on without a backward glance. My phone buzzed. Mark again. "You sure you're all right?" I typed back. She lied. I just needed to see it to stop pretending she didn't. He replied with just one word. Respect. I went home that night and stood in front of the mirror. I studied myself, the overgrown beard, the hollow cheeks. The man who let someone else define his worth? "You're not this," I whispered. "You're not him either, but you're not this." I opened my drawer. That necklace box was still inside. I picked it up, held it in my hand for a few seconds. Then I dropped it in the trash. The sound it made was soft. But inside me, something cracked louder than it ever had before. The lie had weight. But the truth. Truth freed me. I didn't cry that night. I didn't rage. I didn't write some long, angry text I'd regret. I sat on the floor, leaned against the bed and whispered, "Thank you." Because now I had proof, not just suspicion, not just silence. Proof that I was never the problem. Proof that she wasn't confused, she was committed. Just not to me. I stood up, went to the closet, took every sweatshirt that reminded me of her. Every photo, every card, tossed them into a trash bag. It was time to stop honoring the ghost of a relationship she buried at 2 a.m. I walked to the dumpster, dropped the bag in, stood there a second longer, then turned around and didn't look back. When I got home, I opened my laptop, new doc title, "The Guy She Told Me Not to Worry About," and I typed the first line. She wasn't afraid of losing me because she already had someone else lined up. Then the second, and I'm done competing for someone who already made their choice. I saved the file, not as a letter, not for her, for me. Because sometimes, writing your pain down is how you bleed it out. I crawled into bed and stared at the ceiling. It still hurt, but it hurt less. Because now I knew. Now it wasn't a question. It was an answer, and maybe the answer sucked, but at least it was honest, and honestly. That's more than she ever gave me. I stared at the blinking cursor again. Deadline passed again. Emails unanswered. Calls missed. Slack pings ignored. Again, double quotes, "Hey," my boss said from the doorway. "You okay?" I nodded, lied. "Yeah, just tired." He walked in. "You've missed 3 deliverables this month." "I know. This isn't you." I looked at him but didn't answer. What could I say? He sighed. "I'm moving you off the Harris account. Let's talk Friday." I nodded again. He walked out. I leaned back in my chair. The screen glared back at me like it knew I was faking it. By Thursday, my desk was empty. I didn't quit. They just stopped assigning me anything. Friday came. I didn't go in. Didn't even set an alarm, just laid in bed staring at the ceiling. Buzz. My phone lit up. "Mark, bro, where are you at?" I didn't answer. Didn't have the energy. Didn't want to lie again. Another buzz. "Mark, you good?" Still nothing. By Saturday, the texts stopped. So, did the calls? Even my mom's check-in texts got shorter. "Hope you're eating. Call me if you need." But I didn't. I didn't want to talk. Didn't want to explain why I felt like a shadow in my own life. Monday night, I found myself walking with no direction. Ended up by the bridge near 9th Street. I wasn't thinking about jumping. I just stood there watching the cars pass beneath, wondering what it would feel like if I disappeared, if I just walked away from everyone and everything, if anyone would even notice. That's when my phone rang. "Mark." I almost didn't pick up. Almost let it ring. But I pressed answer. "Hey," I said quietly. "You alive?" I let out a breath. Barely. He laughed. "You sound like crap. Feel like it. You at home?" "No, where?" "Bridge." Silence. "Then stay there. I'm coming. I'm fine." "You're not." "I know that tone." "Mark, don't argue. Just wait." He hung up. 15 minutes later, his truck pulled up. He rolled down the window. "Get in." I climbed in silently. He didn't say anything right away. Just drove. After a few blocks, said, "You look like you haven't slept in days." "Because I haven't." "You eating sometimes?" "Showering?" I gave a humorless laugh. Mostly he turned toward his place. "What are you doing?" I asked. "You're staying with me, Mark. I'm not your staying. You need a reset. And I need a partner for the startup." I looked at him. "What?" He glanced at me. "You heard me. I thought that was just an idea. It was now it's real. I need someone I trust." "Why me?" "Because you're smart and loyal. And when you're not drowning in heartbreak, you're a beast." I didn't respond. "Also," he added, "my couch misses you." That made me smile, just barely at his place. He tossed me a blanket. "You know where the shower is? Clean up. We're grinding in the morning. You serious about this? Dead serious? You need something to fight for?" "I don't know if I have anything left to give." "Then rebuild." I stared at him. He clapped my shoulder. "Start with surviving. We'll get to thriving later." That night, I lay on his couch, staring at the ceiling. But this time, I wasn't numb. I was tired. Tired of breaking. Tired of being broken. The next morning, he tossed a protein bar at my head. "Let's work." I sat up. Doing what? Building the back end for our app? You don't even know what you're doing? Exactly. Why I need you. We spent the whole day mocking up screens, throwing ideas, scrapping code, laughing when nothing worked. It didn't feel like healing, but it felt like breathing. That was a start. That night, we had takeout on the floor. You really think this'll work? I asked. He shrugged. Maybe, and if it doesn't, he looked at me. Then we build something else. But we don't stay stuck. That's the rule. Good rule. Damn right it is. By the way, she doesn't get. To keep you broken. I stared at my noodles. Feels like she did. She didn't. She just cracked the shell. What you rebuild with, that's on you. That hit hard. I nodded slowly. Over the next few weeks, couch became home. The app became focus. The pain didn't vanish, but it dulled. And one morning, looked in the mirror and thought, maybe I don't hate this version of me. I wasn't healed. Not yet, but I was rising. Even if my rock bottom had a basement, I'd finally started climbing out. Up already? Mark asked, rubbing his eyes. Didn't sleep, I replied. He raised a brow. That's either really good or really bad. I shrugged. The backend finally compiles. He grinned. Now you're sounding like you again. Didn't answer. Just picked up my coffee and sat back at the desk. The screen glowed lines of code, half-done mock-ups. A half-eaten protein bar beside the keyboard. 12-hour days became normal, 7 days a week. No breaks. The world outside the apartment faded. Her voice faded to no more checking her Instagram, no more refreshing her TikTok, hoping she'd posted something I could hate. I deleted the bookmarks, blocked the accounts. I'm proud of you. Mark said one night as we worked side by side. For what? Letting go? I hesitated. Still stings? Yeah, but it doesn't own you anymore. I nodded. I can feel it, he said. You're coming back. I'm not. He looked. Confused? You're not? I shook my head. I'm not coming back. I'm becoming. He grinned wide. I like that. Days blurred into nights. We built features, tested UI, redesigned everything from scratch 3 times. We argued over buttons, fonts, payment models. You're obsessed, Mark joked one afternoon. I need to be. Why? Because silence is where I rebuild. He leaned against the wall. That's heavy. I looked at him. So was losing myself. Some nights I'd catch my reflection in the window, tired eyes, stubble, bags under my eyes. But also, clarity, drive. I wasn't the version of me who begged, who waited for texts, who tried to prove his worth to someone blind to it. I was sharper, faster, still hurting maybe, but not stuck. Mark noticed too. You're different, and he said over pizza one night. How? You laugh now. Not like before, but it's real. I took a sip of water. Feels real. In your shoulders, he added. Bro, when did you start growing traps? I laughed. I lift between builds, he pointed. Revenge muscle. I see it. It's not revenge. No, I said. It's a reminder of what? That I'm worth showing up for. He didn't say anything to that. Didn't need to. He just nodded. One night, Dodd worked until 3 a.m., pushed the last commit, sat back in the chair. The app loaded clean. No bugs. For once, it just worked. Mark woke up to the smell of coffee and Mion. The balcony you sleep at all? I shook my head. You didn't need to. He joined me. Look at you, standing in peace and caffeine. Standing in purpose. I corrected. He smirked. Same thing these days. We watch the sunrise. Quiet, comfortable. Think she ever thinks about you? He asked suddenly. I didn't flinch, maybe. You care? No. You sure? I looked at him. Mark, if she texted right now, I wouldn't reply. He raised his brows. Growth, not growth. Boundaries. Even better. Afternoon, we sent the beta version to testers. By evening, the feedback was rolling in. Bugs here, suggestions there, but overall, a positive. People like it, Mark said. They like what we built. What you built, he corrected. I was just here for comic relief and snacks. I smiled. You gave me more than that. Like what? A place to be invisible until I was ready to be seen again. He tapped the table. That might be the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Well, don't let it go to your head. We laughed. The app wasn't perfect. Neither was I, but both were getting better. We celebrated with tacos and late-night TV. Mark fell asleep on the couch. I stayed up. Reading user feedback, one message caught me. I've never felt seen by an app before. Whoever built this, thank you. I read it again and again. That night I didn't think about her, not once. I thought about code and light and purpose. I'd poured everything into the build, into the silence, into the self I was molding from. Scrap and, for the first time in forever. I wasn't lonely in it. I was home, not a place, a version of me. And he felt strong. You ready? Mark asked, adjusting my mic. Yeah, I nodded. Just breathe right. Breathe, flex, and pretend you don't hate crowds. I laughed. It's not the crowd I'm worried about. You crushed rehearsal. You'll be fine. The backstage lights dimmed. My name was announced. Stepped onto the stage. Spotlights, phones. Lifted applause. I wasn't nervous. Not anymore. I started speaking about code, resilience, rebuilding systems, and self-worth. People listened. They actually listened. Every word mattered. Halfway through my talk, I saw her, front row, a familiar face. Her arm looped around someone. My gut clenched for a second. Just a second. Her fiancé, the same guy from the pictures I once stared at for hours. But I didn't stumble. I didn't flinch. I looked past them and kept going. Pain, I said. To the crowd, doesn't destroy you. It designs you. 8. The room went still. Then came the applause. Thunderous. Real. I walked off stage. Mark high-fived me. You nailed it. Felt good, I said, trying not to look back. Guess who's here, he said. I know. He paused. You okay? Yes. Better than okay. 10 minutes later, I saw her again. She walked up slowly, eyes wide, dress perfect. Smile. Unsure? Hey, she said softly. I nodded. Hey, you were amazing up there. Thanks. You look different. Success does that, I said. Her eyes searched mine. I mean it. You've changed. I had to. There was just a pause. Then she said it. You were always smart. I tilted my head. But not man enough, right? Her mouth opened slightly. No words, just breath. I didn't mean, but you did, I said. It's fine. I needed to hear it. Face dropped. You were hurt. No, I corrected. I was destroyed, and I rebuilt. She glanced toward her fiancé, who was busy talking to someone else. Clueless? You don't hate me? She asked. I smiled faintly. No, I thank you. For what? For setting the fire. She looked confused. The fire that burned down everything fake. So I could rebuild something real? She stepped closer. You sound like a different person. Maybe I am. There was silence. Then she asked, Do you still think about me? Only when I'm asked dumb questions, I said with a half laugh. She blinked. You're cold. No, I'm focused. You really moved on? I looked her straight in the eye. I built a life, not a reaction. That stung. I saw it in her expression. She looked over at her fiancé again, then back at me. I wish things were different. She whispered. They are, I said. She swallowed hard. You look happy? I am. Her smile was tight now, fading. Good, yeah, I said, turning. What is? I started walking. She didn't follow, didn't call out, didn't cry. But I could feel it. The weight of her regret hovering like perfume. Backstage, Mark raised an eyebrow. Well, she spoke. And she saw me. He smiled. And I saw right through her. Mark slapped my back. You're a different breed now. I'm not trying to be, I said. It just happened. We walked out together. The city lights were soft. My name was on banners. On screens, she was in the crowd. But I was on stage, she used to say. I wasn't man enough, but I didn't need to prove I was. She saw it, and that was enough. You really don't drink? Elise asked, swirling her wine. Nope, I said, sipping ginger ale. Gave it up a year ago. Wanted to stay sharp. That's kind of sexy, she said. Self-control is underrated, I smirked. So is not crying on bar floors? She laughed. That bad, huh? I've seen worse. Been worse. She leaned on the table, chin resting in her palm. You always this mysterious? No, I just don't talk about the past much. Fair, she nodded. I don't either. Makes the steak taste better. I chuckled. You're weird. Thank you, she said proudly. So ... what do you like talking about? I paused. Dreams. Massive. She grinned. All right. Hit me. I took a breath. I want to build something that outlives me, not just money. Something that helps people rise from nothing. She whistled. Wow. Heavy for a second date, you asked. I did. She said, and I like it. You? She leaned back. I want to be known for something real. Not likes, not clicks, but impact. I raised my glass. To that, she clinked hers against mine. Too real. Weeks passed like scenes from a quiet movie. No games, no drama, just breath. We met on rooftops, in bookstores, late-night cafes. She never once asked, what happened to you? Instead, she said, what's next for you? And that changed everything. One night, I told her the truth. All of this started because someone said I wasn't man enough. Her eyes didn't widen, no gasps, just a small, honest smile. That's wild, she said, but kinda iconic. How? You got dumped and then built an empire. That's hot, I blinked. You're serious? Dead serious, she said. I mean, I cry when my coffee order's wrong. You created a business after Heartbreak, as peak main character energy. I laughed so hard I nearly spilled my tea. She leaned closer and let me guess. Now she wants you back? She showed up at a conference, I admitted. Saul. Me on stage? What did you do? Walked away. Elise clapped once. Yes, that's how it's done. You think I'm healed? No, she said, but I think you're healing, and that's hotter. I blinked. That's a low bar. Maybe she grinned. But real love isn't about fixing people. It's about holding space while they fix themselves. I stared at her. I've never heard it put like that. She shrugged. I'm not here to be your therapist. I'm here to be the reason you laugh too loud in public. That night I kissed her, not because I needed comfort, but because I finally wanted to share joy for once. I didn't feel like a broken thing someone might drop. I felt seen. We didn't move fast. I liked that. One Sunday morning, I sat on her. Fire escape, eating bagels. She looked over at me and said, "Do you feel safe with me?" "No one's ever asked me that," I replied. "I'm not most people," she said. I took her hand. I do now. The past didn't disappear, but it stopped choking me. Because in Elise's presence, I didn't have to explain myself. I just had to be. She came to pitch meetings. Never interrupted, just watched, nodded, smiled. After one, I asked, "You ever get bored listening to me talk business all day?" She said, "Nope. I like watching you care about something. Simple, powerful, real." That's what Elise was. Real. One night, said it aloud. "You're the first person who never tried to fix me." She smiled. "That's because I knew you weren't broken. We're building." "Building what?" She touched my chest. "A stronger version of you." I looked at her, heartbeat steady. "You're not scared of my scars?" "No," she said. "Because I've got mine too. They just don't show in selfies." We held each other, and I didn't feel like a man proving anything. I felt like a man accepted as is. Elise didn't complete me. She reminded me I was never missing anything, just waiting to remember. Elise. said, voice shaky. You know, I'm not great with speeches. She smirked. You, Mr. TED Talk? I laughed. Okay, maybe with strangers, not with you. We stood on the beach, the waves slow and golden with sunset. I reached into my pocket and held the box tight. Elise, I said again this time. Steadier, being with you. It never felt like a new beginning. It felt like remembering who I was. Her eyes started to water. You never tried to fix me. You just saw me. I opened the box. She gasped. Elise Green. Will you marry me? She didn't wait. Yes. I blinked. I didn't finish. I don't care, she said already. Hugging me, yes. 1,000,000 times, yes. The box dropped in the sand as we laughed, kissed, and held each other like the world had disappeared. We stayed on the beach until stars came out. Just breathing. I can't believe this is real, she whispered. It is, I said. And it's ours. We posted the photo the next day. Not some big announcement. No fireworks, just her hand in mine. The ring. Caption. Worth the wait, that was it. No hashtags.
No filters.
And somehow, that made it loudest. The messages started. Rolling in, Mark texted, about damn time. His sister wrote, she's perfect. Don't mess it up. Random old college friends commented. Wow, congrats, man. And then, her name popped up. Rachel. I stared at the screen. Her message, congrats. You always deserved someone better. I just stared. No anger, no heartbreak, just peace. Elise came over, leaned on my shoulder. Who's that? Someone from a past life. I said. She nodded. You okay, yeah? I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Later that night, we had dinner with her parents. Her mom held Elise's hand, beaming. You've looked happier these past few months. I am, Elise said. He gets me. Her dad shook my hand. You're a good man. She chose well. Thank you, sir. No, sir. Call me Alan. We toasted with lemonade. I felt home not tolerated, not half-loved. Seen after dinner, Elise asked, You sure you're okay with all this attention? I'm not used to people celebrating. My love, I said. It's nice. She smiled. You deserve every bit of it. I didn't always believe that. Well, she whispered. Believe it now. Back at our place, we sat in silence, feet up on the couch. Her head rested on my chest. I used to think proposals had to be dramatic, she murmured. It's like a flash mob or something. God, no, I said. You'd have run away. She laughed. But that beach, that was us. She looked up at me. Simple. Real. I nodded. And forever. We stayed quiet a while, then Elise said, You didn't reply to her, huh? No. Good. You don't think it's petty? No, she said. I think it's powerful. I thought about that. She had her chance.
She did.
Elise said. And now she gets to watch you build a life that never needed her. I kissed her forehead. I'm not building it despite her anymore. She looked at me. I'm building it because I finally love myself enough to want more. Her smile. Said everything the next morning. I went for a run. Same route I used to take when I was drowning in grief. But this time, my breath was light, my steps steady. When I got home, Elise was on a Zoom call with her best friend. He proposed. She was saying, like, really proposed? No nerves, no nonsense? Just him, honest and grounded. Pause. Yeah, I cried. Another pause. I think he's the one I prayed for back when I didn't believe I'd find anyone real. I stepped into the room, kissed her cheek. She turned red. He heard that. I liked it, I whispered. We laughed, and for once I didn't feel like I was proving anything. I just felt whole. Later, we walked past a cafe I hadn't been to in years, where I once sat alone, wondering what I did wrong. Now, I looked through the glass and didn't see ghosts. Just reflections of who I used to be. You want to go in? Elise asked. No, I said. That version of me already left, kept walking. She squeezed my hand. The ring on her finger caught sunlight. And just for a second, I thought about Rachel's words. You always deserved someone better. She was Right, but it wasn't about Elise being better. It was about me becoming someone who finally saw my own worth. My phone rang while I was folding chairs for the backyard. Ceremony, unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something in my gut said, pick up. Hello. Silence. Then her voice. Are you really getting married next month? I froze. I looked at Elise across the yard, laughing with my mom as they arranged centerpieces. Who is this? I asked, even though I already knew. It's me, she said. Rachel stepped behind the shed, out of view. So, it's true. Said nothing. I saw the invite. Jen showed me. I wasn't supposed to know, right? More silence. I mean, I get it, but still, you really didn't think I'd care. I let the quiet stretch. You always hated silence, she said. I finally spoke. It was never silence. It was survival. What's that supposed to mean? I exhaled. You muted who I was for so long, Rachel. Silence was the only thing I had left that was mine. She laughed softly, bitter, shaky. I miss what we had. No, I said. You miss having someone who never fought back. That's not fair. You told me I wasn't man enough. She was quiet. You laughed at who I was becoming. Didn't mean it like that, but you meant it enough to say it. Look, I didn't call to argue, then why'd you call? Taz, I don't know, I guess, to hear your voice one more time. You've got it, I said. Now, what? Another pause? I've changed too, you know. I'm glad you don't believe me. It doesn't matter if I do. She sighed. Do you love her? I stared at the sky. I respect her. I trust her. She sees me. That's not what I asked. You don't get to ask anymore. Her voice dropped. I wasn't expecting that invite to hurt. You weren't even invited. I know, she said. And it still did. I closed my eyes. Then maybe it was karma opening the envelope. Do you ever think about us? Only as a warning. Ouch. I said nothing. I always thought. Maybe we'd find our way back. We burned the map. She tried to laugh. Always did have a way with words. Not then, I said. Back then, I used words to beg. Now, I use them to build. I wish you well, Rachel. I really do. You don't sound like it. That's because I'm not talking to the version of you I used to love. That version died the night you chose pride over partnership. She didn't reply. I almost hung up. Then she whispered, Is she everything I wasn't?
Ow.
She's not a comparison. She's a choice. Silence again. I'm sorry. Not. What do you mean? I'm not sorry you're hurting. I'm not sorry you're late. It's cold. It's honest. She sniffled. You'll always be the one that got away. No, I said. You pushed me. Then I ended the call. No dramatic hang, dash up. Just click. I slipped the phone back in my pocket and returned to the backyard. Elise. Looked up everything okay? I nodded. Yeah. She tilted her head. You sure? I kissed her forehead, just closing an old door. She smiled. Good, because I'm painting a new one. She held up a white sign with gold cursive. Welcome to the start of forever. Beautiful, I said. You helped pick the font. I laughed. I help with the fonts. You bring the meaning. We went back to setting up the tables. No drama, no ghosts. Later that night, I got a text from Mark. Bro, heard Rachel called you. You good? I replied. Better than ever. He texted back a meme of a flaming trash can rolling downhill. Caption, her timeline right now. I laughed for 5 full minutes. Then I tucked my phone away and watched Elise from across the room, barefoot, dancing in the kitchen to no music. Babe, I called out. What are you doing? She spun dramatically. Practicing my wedding twirls. You don't need practice. I want it to be perfect. It already is. She came over, rested her head on my chest. Tell me something honest. I kissed her hair. Someone I used to know called today. She looked up. Your ex. I nodded. She okay? I think so. But I'm not the one who checks anymore. Do you still care? I care that she finally saw what I became. I care that she knows it had nothing to do with her. Elise smiled. It didn't? No, I said. You made me want to grow. She made me shrink. Good, Elise whispered, because I'm never holding scissors. I held her tighter, and in that moment, I didn't just feel peace. I felt arrival. The past had its story, but the future had her name in every chapter. Ready? Mark asked. Straightening my boutonniere, I nodded, adjusting my sleeves. Been ready, he grinned. You look like a man who knows. I do. The music started. Guests stood. I walked toward the arbor like I was walking out of a storm. She was waiting. Elisa, her dress wasn't flashy, but she glowed. She took my hand the second I reached her. You okay? More than okay. You sure? I nodded. You've never been more certain, the officiant began. I didn't hear much until he said, vows. Elise went first. She looked right at me and said, you don't have to be perfect, just present. And that's more than enough for me. My eyes stung. I breathed through it, then it was my turn. I held her hand tighter. I promised to see you. Not just look at you, but see you. She smiled. I promised to never let silence do the talking when love deserves a voice. A few guests wiped tears. I promised to build, not break. To listen, not assume. To protect, not possess. Elise blinked fast, fighting tears. I promised to never doubt my worth again. Collective pause in the air. I walked through fire, thinking it was love, but you. You were the water I didn't know I needed. Her hand trembled in mine. I was told I wasn't man enough. Maybe back then I wasn't, but standing here with you, I know I am. Elise let out a soft laugh through her tears. I promise this version of me, the one who healed, is the only one you'll ever get. Silence. But the good kind. The kind that wraps around you like a warm blanket, not the kind that used to choke me. You may kiss the bride. I leaned in and kissed, her gently, not to prove anything, just to seal everything. The applause didn't matter. What mattered was how she looked at me like I was everything. Not despite my past, because of what I survived. Mark clapped my back. That was a hell of a speech. Not a speech, I said. A vow. He smirked. She got lucky. I did too. People came up to hug us. Toasts, smiles, cameras. I stood there, grounded for once, not performing. Just being. Later, Elise tugged my sleeve. Come with me. She pulled me behind the flower stand. No cameras, no guests, just us. I didn't get to say one thing, she whispered. Yeah, she took my face in her hands. You're not just man enough, you're more than enough. I swallowed hard. Elise, she kissed me. That's all. You just needed to hear it. I did, I admitted. She rested her forehead on mine. And now it's the last time you ever doubt it. I nodded slowly. Deal. We rejoined. The others, hand in hand. My mom teared up. You look like your father did when he married me. He looked like he was about to faint, I joked. She laughed. No, like he found peace. That hit different. I looked across the garden at the arbor, at the petals on the ground, at the life I was now in. Then my phone buzzed in my pocket. I almost ignored it, but I glanced. DM from her. Rachel, just 3 words. You really did. I showed Elise. She read it, then met my eyes. You okay? I am. Want a reply? I shook my head. I already did, just not in words. Elise grinned. Then let's dance. She pulled me into the crowd, where fairy lights glowed and people moved like joy was contagious. We danced, not perfectly, not professionally, but truthfully. That night, as the party slowed and people trickled out, Elise leaned into me. What? Are you thinking? She whispered, that I'm not the man who got left on a couch anymore. She smiled against my shoulder. No, you're the man who rose from it. I didn't just rise, I said. I rebuilt. And I'll never take that for granted, she replied. We stood in the quiet arms around each other, stars blinking overhead. You happy? She asked. I looked down at her. Yeah, really. I'm standing here, married to the woman who didn't need me to change, just to heal. That's all I ever wanted. She kissed me gently. That's all I ever saw in you. Walked back to the house hand in hand, past the arbor, past the chairs, past every version of me. I left behind and into the life I finally believed I deserved. Should I post this one? Elise asked, holding up her phone. It's the one where you're spinning me. You're smiling like a kid with ice cream, I said. She laughed. That's because I felt like one. Post it. Caption. I thought for a second. No words. Let the joy speak. She grinned. Done. She tapped the screen, and just like that, it was out there. A few seconds later, her phone buzzed, then mine. Here we go, I said. Mark sent a fire emoji. My mom commented hearts. Elise's friends flooded the post with congratulations. Scrolled to the second photo, the one where I had both arms around her. Forehead to forehead? You love that one, she said. I do, because that's when it hit me. This is real, or notifications die. The picture was gaining traction. Then came the third photo, me holding her face in my hands, a veil floating in the wind, both of us laughing like the world had vanished. That one went viral, at least in our circles. Comments flooded in. You can see the love. Should be a movie poster. She healed him. Elise looked up at me. You okay? Yeah? You sure? Just I wasn't. Expecting this kind of reaction, she nodded. You're not hiding anymore. That's why it feels loud. I sat on the edge of the bed, phone still buzzing. You think she saw it, Rachel? Elise asked gently. Yeah. She tilted her head. Do you want her to? No, I said immediately. But she did. How do you know? Because she's the kind of person who checks, even when she says she won't. Elise walked over and sat beside me, and if she did, I stared at the screen. Then she got her closure. No text, no message. Not even a like? Nothing? Elise tucked her hand into mine. That's its own kind of message, isn't it? It is, I whispered. The silence from Rachel was louder than any apology. She'd seen the photos. I was sure of it. We had mutuals. Her sister still followed me. I caught her name in the likes. That was all the confirmation I needed. She didn't say congrats, I muttered. Would it matter if she did? Elise asked. No, but it's the silence that says more. Elise rubbed my back. Maybe she realized she's not part of your story anymore. Maybe she saw what real love looks like and couldn't look any longer. Elise didn't reply. She didn't need to. I stood up and walked toward the window. The light was soft, golden, pouring into our room. I breathed in slowly. You want to know something strange? I asked. Always. I didn't feel angry. About her seeing them? Yeah. Why would you be? Because I thought I would. I thought I'd want her to hurt. Elise walked over, wrapping her arms around my waist. But I didn't, I whispered. I just felt done. Because you are. I thought closure came in conversations, endings, explaining everything. And I was wrong. Sometimes it comes in silence. In photos, in letting someone see the life they lost without, rubbing it in their face. She didn't just lose you, Elise said. She lost the version of you she never gave the space to grow into. Exactly, I said. She never met this me. And now she never will. I turned to face Elise. I love you. She smiled, eyes shining. I know I love you too. Later that evening, I scrolled through the wedding album again. One picture caught me. It was candid. Elise looking at me laughing, me looking at her like she was a miracle. That was it, the one I posted it. With a new caption, not revenge, just peace. An hour passed, still no message from Rachel. No, I'm happy for you. No, I miss you. Nothing. And yet, I felt lighter. Elise came back into the room wearing one of my old hoodies. Still scrolling? Just soaking it in. She curled up beside me. You know what I love? What? You didn't post those pictures for? Anyone but you. I nodded, not to prove anything, just to remember everything. I held her hand tighter, and that's when it hit me. Closure didn't come wrapped in answers. It came wrapped in freedom. "You want sugar in it?" Elise asked, reaching for the jar. "Half a spoon." She laughed. "You always say that. Then you sneak another one in when I'm not looking." I grinned and leaned on the counter. Gotta keep some mystery alive. Steam curled up from the mugs. The smell of fresh coffee filled our new kitchen. The walls were still bare. Boxes, still untouched. But it already felt like home. Elise slid the cup toward me. "Drink up, husband. Haven't gotten used to that word yet." "You better," she said, nudging my hip with hers. "I married you fair and square." I sipped slowly, letting the warmth settle. My eyes drifted toward the window. Morning light spilled across the floor, soft and golden. "You good?" she asked, watching me. "Yeah," I said. "I am." She waited. I put the cup down. I used to think I needed to prove something. Prove what? So that I mattered. That I was enough. That she was wrong. Elise didn't speak. Just listened. I thought success would be revenge. The house, the business, the marriage like I was. Checking off a list just to send it back to her like a report card. She touched my arm. And I was wrong. Elise tilted her head. "What changed?" I looked at her, really looked. Her messy hair, bare feet, oversized t-shirt. That looked like she actually saw me. "I stopped chasing the past," I said. "Started living in the now." Elise smiled. "Looks like peace fits you better than pain did." I took another sip of coffee.
Yeah.
"You know, the night she told me I wasn't man enough, I believed her." Her eyes softened. "I know, but I didn't stay in that belief. Moved through it, and that made all the difference." "She didn't break you," Elise said. "She woke you up." I laughed softly. Yeah, she lit the fire, but she never controlled it. The doorbell rang. Elise wiped her hands on a dish towel. "Want me to get it?" I got it. I opened the door to find a delivery guy holding a small package. "Sign here, please." I scribbled my name and took the box. No label. Just a plain cardboard square. "No return address," Elise peeked over my shoulder. "What is it?" "I don't know." I opened it slowly. Inside was a wedding album, a second copy, one we sent to the printer. I turned it over. On the back was a note, "No return address." I smiled. "You think she saw it?" Elise asked quietly. "I know she did." Elise nodded. "And now, nothing," I said. "She can look, she can wonder, but she can't touch this chapter." We walked back to the kitchen, arm in arm. "I thought I needed her to regret," I whispered, and I didn't. I just needed to stop regretting myself. Elise leaned her head on my shoulder. "That's growth. That's grace." Kissed her forehead. "I didn't win because I got rich or married. I won because I found peace." "She didn't leave you because you were weak," Elise said. "She left because she wasn't strong enough to love someone like me. You're not broken. I never was." She looked up at me. "Promise me something? Anything? Matter what happens next. Sex, failure, fights, babies. Birthdays, promise me you'll never forget that version of you. The one who kept going." I took her hands. "I promise." The coffee had cooled by the time we sat down. Elise opened her laptop. "You ready to send the launch email?" "Let's do it." Typed out the announcement. "We're live." "Thank you for believing in the build." I hit send just then. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I saw the photos. "I hope you're happy." I stared at it. Elise saw my face. "Everything okay?" I showed her the screen. She read it. Once, then again, "Are you going to reply?" she asked. "No." "Why not?" "Because I don't need to." She reached across the table, touching my hand. That's real power. I deleted the message, blocked the number. Then I looked at her. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Elise smiled. "Then let's stay here together." We clinked our mugs, and just like that, the chapter closed. Not with noise, not with fireworks, but with peace. Peace I earned. Peace I chose. Peace I never needed to prove to anyone but myself.